I think the worst possible mindset you can have in life is what I call the health bar mindset. And once you know about this, you will see it everywhere. It's a thing where people act like when they're doing something they don't want to do in that moment, that they're constantly taking damage. There's an article that came out like 11 years ago talking about this. Some people have this approach to work, whether it's work for somebody else or just stuff they need to do around the house. That the whole time they're working, they imagine themselves taking damage the whole time, and telling themselves that the only time they're not taking damage is when they are at rest. But for example, if you're somebody like me who doesn't enjoy socializing in groups, the whole time you're socializing, you're thinking of yourself as steadily taking damage. Like you're in a poison swamp level in a video game, where you're continually losing hit points just because you're standing in that spot. I don't know when this started or when it was popularized. I know it was before this book came along. But it's this idea that every negative emotion leaves a scar on you. And I think this is destructive for two reasons. The first is that you'll hear people start to apply this to every situation. That if they heard an opinion they don't agree with, that caused them to take damage. If they saw something that offended them, that caused them to take damage. But the second problem is that it prohibits you from doing the one thing that actually does help, which is trying to find joy or enjoyment in the unpleasant task. All work is made worse when you spend the entire time trying to minimize the damage you're taking, where every minute is spent trying to think of how to shorten the task or how to minimize how much energy you're putting into it. You never let yourself fall into the task and get into a flow state. You never feel the joy of having done it well. And that's what this article was pointing out, is that this idea that the default restful state is just a state of inactivity is just incorrect. If you're ever taking damage to your life, it's often because you're neglecting to do something. And because there's something inside you that knows you're neglecting it. And you have probably met people who talk like everything you do in life involves taking damage. That's what can happen if you let this go far enough. You can get to where you see everything in life, everything in the world, as one big poison swamp. And while there are tons of success gurus on here talking about the mindset you need to get ahead in life, I think it is just as important to understand which ones to avoid, and I think this is the worst.